Hello, everyone. You're continuing in the Let's Set the Context videos for the guidebook unit Steve Jobs, which focuses on commencement address speeches that are given at college graduations. The purpose of this video is to learn about the major elements of a commencement address and its structure. You'll be reading two different commencement addresses in this unit, so understanding the structure and elements of a commencement address will help you better understand the speeches. As you watch this video, make sure you have your handout and writing utensil ready for any questions that may come along. So, what makes a commencement address unique? Commencement addresses are unique because the speaker often tells a personal story. Just like everyone's fingerprint is different, each story that is told in a commencement address is unique and special to the person who is giving the commencement address. A commencement address is written to be read out loud to an audience at a graduation. A commencement address takes careful planning in order to make it easy for the audience to follow. A commencement address is different from other types of speeches because it's usually structured in a way that tells a story about someone's life and gives a specific inspirational message to the audience. This message is often a lesson or advice to the graduating students. Commencement addresses are usually made up of three major elements or parts: an introduction, a personal story, and a conclusion that gives an inspirational message. An introduction is the beginning of a speech or address. The speaker typically begins an address by explaining why they are speaking and welcoming the audience. Sheryl Sandberg, the first woman to serve on Facebook's board of directors and its chief operating officer, was invited to give the commencement address at the University of California, Berkeley in May of 2016. The year before this address, Sheryl Sandberg's husband passed away unexpectedly, and this event changed her life forever. At the graduation ceremony, Sandberg was introduced by someone before she began speaking, so she didn't need to formally introduce herself. Sandberg begins her speech by thanking the person who introduced her, thanking the audience, and explaining why she is speaking. As I read her introduction, listen for what makes this a strong introduction. Thank you. And thank you, esteemed members of the faculty, proud parents, devoted friends, squirming siblings. Congratulations to all of you, and especially to the magnificent Berkeley graduating class of 2016. A commencement address is meant to be a dance between youth and wisdom. You have the youth. Someone comes in to be the voice of wisdom. That's supposed to be me. I stand up here and tell you all the things I have learned in life. You throw your cap in the air and you let your family take a million photos. Don't forget to post them on Instagram. And everyone goes home happy. When Sandberg says a commencement address is meant to be a dance between youth and wisdom, it sets the purpose for her speech because she is telling the graduates who are young adults that she is going to share what she has learned about life so that they can take that wisdom with them after they graduate. So, what makes this a good introduction to a commencement address? You may pause the video to answer. To review, Sandberg includes many elements of a strong introduction for a commencement speech. She begins the speech by congratulating the graduates when she says, "Congratulations to all of you, and especially to the magnificent Berkeley graduating class of 2016. You should note that Berkeley is the name of the university they are graduating from." She explains why she is speaking when she says a commencement address is meant to be a dance between youth and wisdom. You have the youth. Someone comes in to be the voice of wisdom. That's supposed to be me. She also welcomes the audience when she says, "And thank you, esteemed members of the faculty, proud parents, devoted friends, squirming siblings." After the introduction comes the personal story. Graduation speakers have a job to do. They inspire students and call on them to strive for success, to change the world for better after the graduation. Speakers often do this by sharing their personal life stories of struggle and how they overcame those struggles to build success. In the body of Sheryl Sandberg's commencement address, she connects with all the graduates by telling her personal story about the sudden death of her husband, how challenging this time in her life was, and how she was able to ultimately grow from this experience. Listen as I read part of Sandberg's personal story from the commencement address she gave at Stanford University. Be thinking about what wisdom she shares. Sandberg says, Dave's death changed me in very profound ways. I'm sharing this with you in hopes that today, as you take the next step into your life, you can learn the lessons that I only learned in death. Lessons about hope, strength, and the light within us that will not be extinguished. The easy days ahead of you will be easy. It's the hard days, the times that challenge you to your very core. That will determine who you are. You will be defined not just by what you achieve, but by how you survive. Where is the wisdom Sandberg shares? Sandberg shares her wisdom of how to cope with the sudden death of her husband and the ways it made her rethink how she was living her life. She tells the students that success is not measured just by your achievement, but by how you live life. In the body of her commencement address, what does Sandberg share? You may pause the video to answer. To review, Sandberg includes many elements of a strong personal story in her commencement speech. She inspires students by sharing how she learned from the experience of her husband's death when she says, Dave's death changed me in very profound ways. I'm sharing this with you in the hopes that today, as you take the next steps in your life, you can learn the lessons that I only learned in death. She calls on students to strive for success when she says, the easy days ahead of you will be easy. It's the hard days, the times that challenge you to your very core, that will determine who you are. She explains how she overcame struggles and became successful when she says, you will be defined not just by what you achieve, but how you survive. After a personal story comes the conclusion. The conclusion is the last section of an address. This is the part of the address where the speaker motivates the audience with lifelong advice and wisdom, and the speaker ends the speech. Speakers often retell important parts of the personal stories for emphasis and make sure to congratulate the graduates on their academic achievements before the end of the commencement address. Now, listen to how Sheryl Sandberg concludes her commencement address and think about why this is a good conclusion. Before you listen, you should know that resilience means being able to recover from something difficult, and that the Bears is the University of California, Berkeley's mascot. Class of 2016. As you leave Berkeley, build resilience. Build resilience in yourselves when tragedy or disappointment strike. Know that you have the ability to get through absolutely anything. I promise you do. You have the whole world in front of you. I can't wait to see what you do with it. Congratulations, and go Bears. Sheryl Sandberg concludes her commencement address by restating her advice and sharing her wisdom. She leaves her students with a message that will inspire them and motivate them to use her wisdom and follow advice in the future. So, what are the elements of Sandberg's conclusion in her commencement address? You may pause the video to answer. Sandberg includes many elements of a strong conclusion for a commencement speech. She's able to motivate the audience by giving advice when she says, Class of 2016, as you leave Berkeley, build resilience. Build resilience in yourselves. She retells important elements of her personal story when she says, when tragedy or disappointment strike, know that you have the ability to get through absolutely anything. I promise you do. She congratulates the graduates when she finishes her speech. She says, you have the whole world in front of you. I can't wait to see what you do with it. Congratulations, and go Bears. In conclusion, Understanding how a commencement address is structured will help you better understand the commencement addresses that are included in this unit, as well as help you complete the writing tasks that go along with the unit's Steve Jobs. When you finish this video, pay attention to your teacher for further instruction.